actually going live.
Okay. Well, then if you were to say, Kelly, somebody's there, then they'd hear that. So I just kind of have to start. Yeah. All right. This College Money Academy's Saturday live webinar today is what, March 7th, coming up on March Madness. My Jayhawks are doing awesome. Can't wait. But if you are listening, if you're signing on, I see a couple people have hit. This is our live webinar today, Saturday the 7th. We're going to be digging into the strategies on reducing the cost of college. So you're in the right place. I do like to start on time, but I give just a little bit of extra, just a few extra minutes, get some people to sign in, as they normally get settled, and they might have a little tech issue potentially, but this is the College Money Academy's webinar. Go get a glass of water, get something real quick if you're in here, and we'll be getting started here shortly, talking about making college affordable using strategies that, I've yet to even find a financial planner that understands you can do this. So get ready. We'll be starting here pretty soon. See some more people just came on. Thank you. You're in the right location. This is the College Money Academy live webinar. Today is March 7th. And we're going to be digging into the strategies that you've seen us talk about on how to reduce the cost of college. And we're going to be getting started here shortly. Just give a little extra time for people who are just getting settled and logging in. I like to get rolling though, so you here shortly. We'll get started. We are, I think, doing a YouTube live as well, so I can't see if people are signing on there, but if you're watching us, then stick with us. I do ask that you be undistracted if possible, because this builds upon itself as we make this case of how to implement business strategies into reducing the cost of college. So please stay with us. Please pay attention, be undistracted, and we will get through it. So we're going to be starting soon. Again, a few additional people. Welcome. This is Kelly O'Connor with College Money Academy. It's our live webinar. We will be rolling here shortly. It's a beautiful day, March 7th. As I said already, March Madness right around the corner. That is one of my favorite sporting events, and my Jayhawks are doing quite well, so winning the Big 12. But we're going to get started here soon. So if you can hear me and see the College Money Academy Making College Affordable logo, then you're all set. You're ready to go. And let's see, what time is it? So in just 2 minutes, we're going to get rolling. So if you got to grab some water, do so. If you need to get a pen, a piece of paper, go ahead and get that, and we'll be rolling here shortly. Again, I see a handful of additional people coming in. Welcome. Hopefully you can hear me. You should be able to. If you can see the screen with the College Money Academy logo, then you're all set. This is Kelly O'Connor. I'm the founder of College Money Academy. Today, it's March 7th. It's our live webinar this afternoon. We will be digging into the strategies you've seen us discuss on how to reduce the cost of college. So get a piece of paper, get a pen, get your questions ready. We're going to be starting here in just under 2 minutes. Again, thank you for those additional people that have logged on. It's Kelly O'Connor with College Money Academy. We're going to be getting started here in just about 1 minute. Like to just get a little additional time for people signing in if they have any little tech issues or getting their mic set up or whatever they need to do so they can hear us. And so we like to start at 12:05. We're going to be doing that here in just a moment. But you're in the right spot. If you can hear me and see the logo on your screen, then you're all set.
Hey everybody, my name is Bill Connors. I want to kick this off now. We've got enough people in here to get this started. So I'm Bill Connors. I'm with Cat 60 Designs, and I have Kelly here with College Money Academy, and it is my pleasure to introduce him because this guy has saved so many people huge money off the cost of college. And we all know that we have kids and they're getting ready to go to college. It's kind of scary to think of how much money you're going to have to spend. Uh, them going through this process of higher education. Um, Kelly has strategies that will help you dramatically reduce the cost of college tuition. So I'm going to let him roll, and I'm going to field questions here. If you have any questions, type in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to answer them or get Kelly to answer them himself. Go ahead, Kelly.
Awesome, Bill. Thanks for the introduction. All right, very good. It's 12:05. Let's get rolling. We appreciate you taking the time, and I promise you that I will make it worth your time. I do go pretty fast because I like to get through this information, and since I'm the only one talking, then I might as well just burn through this. So there is quite a bit of data to get through in order to effectively lay this out for you. So stick with us because today what we're going to be talking about 100% are the strategies to reducing the cost of college. Now, what's important is the strategies that I implement are without applying for scholarships or grants. Right? So this isn't a scholarship and grant research strategies. There are some people out there that are very effective with that. But this isn't what I do. And when I implemented when I implemented these strategies for my own self, for my firstborn kid, I got 86% off the sticker price. Now I have to know how to do this because if not, then I'm kind of financially screwed. I have 6 kids, 4 of my own and 2 stepsons. And if I'm not implementing these strategies, then my outflow for what just your average state university is costing would be immensely challenging financially. One of my state local schools here, about 38 grand. If I send all kids to that, I'm looking at over $900,000 to send them all. So this is $1 million thing, literally for my family. So my goal, if you stay till the end, is to lay out for you, not only teach you the basic strategies of how to do what I've done and what I do for families every year, how I did it myself, but also to show you some opportunities you have to make it even more effective. Now, many of you have seniors right now, and this is quite pressing, and you most likely have financial aid awards. So I do have something very specific for you who have seniors. Now, some of what you're going to see, you're already past. You've already gone, you're at the tail end here. So you're going to be like, Kelly, this is, we're done with this. We're seniors. But understanding the groundwork of how and why this works is an important piece to it. But please stay with me till a little bit later, because I have something very specifically for families with seniors that I know you're going to like. So what makes this different? Well, first of all, I'm gonna prove to you, and I'm going to show you how results are very, very possible with virtually any family and with virtually any kid. Now, when I say any family, there's the biggest myth that we came across early on is that financially successful people are told, even by their advisors, don't do anything financial aid, you won't qualify. And that is the biggest myth. It's a huge financial mistake. So what makes us different is we kind of buck the system a little bit, and certainly with what is told out there in the financial marketplace for families. And that's why I have certainly there's a place in what I do professionally where I work very closely with financial firms in order to help educate them on this. So when we look at me, I am the founder of College Money Academy. I've been a repeat presenter at over 25 schools in Colorado alone. I've met with school district presidents, charter school organizations. I've done joint work with the heads of enrollment, and it was a great privilege to work with the head of the endowment at a very large private Division I university. I've taught over 1,000 families how to drastically reduce the cost of college. And the average, when you look at the families that I've worked with specifically, the average is just under 16 grand per year of additional money using my strategies. Now, some have not worked directly with me, and they told me after what they learned from my program, they informed me what they had saved, and that's been around 12 grand a year of additional money, which means about $48,000 over the course of 4 years. And when it was time for me to do this, I got an 86% discount. Now, some of you might be here because you recently saw me on Fox 31 here in Denver. I sat right back there with Kirk and Megan and talked about this. That was a lot of fun. Certainly had a good time doing that. Now, over the course of the years, I have done a lot of things right in regards to this, and I've certainly done a lot of things wrong. But after doing this for almost 10 years, I want to begin to lay the groundwork of the high-level components that are really affecting the cost of college and why we have opportunities to reduce it. And the first is that the government changed the rules in '92, and that's one of the primary pivot points of when the prices really began to skyrocket. Now, there have been government involvement in college since the 50s, and as you can imagine, every time they step in to do something that doesn't quite work the way they wanted, so then they pass some other law, then they pass another law, then they, create the Pell Grants, and they have to do this to the Pell Grants, and then blah, 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 and it just slowly is this. It's like the frog in the water, slowly boiling it. And in '92 was one of the big ones because it's when the FAFSA was created, and that's really where the government's involvement really began to fly. But point number two is that the cost of attendance is no different than a garage sale sticker price. So once the government was completely embedded in this, the schools began to be able to pull back because the government was there to offer the money. So I often will tell the example of us going to Starbucks. If you and I went to Starbucks and ordered 2 cups of coffee, they would say, "Hey man, it's $8. We'd pay the $8. We wouldn't lean over the counter and say, "Can you give it to me for 3?" Right? We'd pay the $8. We could take our coffee, walk directly across the street to a garage sale and see an item listed for $8 and know that we could actually offer $3 for it. And the mistake that almost every financial advisor I've ever met, and certainly the parents, they believe college is a Starbucks, and it is not. And the evidence of that is if you just walk down one hallway and ask each kid in their dorm, how much you paying, how much you paying, how much you paying, everybody's paying a different price. If you walk into Starbucks and ask how much you pay for that grande black coffee, they all paid the same price. So because of this, we need to learn, or it's possible to learn, how to treat college like a garage sale. And parents actually, therefore, then have the ability to strategically negotiate the price with any college. Now, I unfortunately discovered this the hard way. I was in the financial service world trying to help my clients navigate through this, and it was difficult to get success in this. And but you kind of get to quote unquote cheat because you get the easy way because I get to lay this out in a Saturday webinar, which is pretty awesome. Now let's look at the hard way, as I referred to it. This is what virtually all of you parents are facing. And when I'm talking, I spoke to a group of 120 financial advisors, this one firm. All of them weren't aware of this. So that means all of those clients represented are trying to get this done the hard way. And let me define that. First is deciding where to apply based solely upon the cost of attendance. Now, this is a huge mistake. We've had so many families that say, well, gosh, we can't send little Billy to DU, the University of Denver, because it's $60,000, $65,000, right? And then we can't go to CU because it's $38,000. And they make a huge mistake by deciding where to apply based upon that price. And that is something we do not do. That is definitely the hard way of going about this. And then they cross their fingers hoping some child, gets some financial aid award. I was in this arena, right? I was looking at the prices of college years ago when my kids were young and hoping that, gosh, maybe they'll be brilliant. And then just trying to simply figure out how in the world we're going to pay the bill, right? The government's always there to go, we'll help you. And then potentially needing to tell your kid that they have to attend a substandard university. And that's a real bummer. And I know it's a huge bummer. Why I also work with counselors at schools, because the school does so much work to get the kid ready. But no one's really helping the parents make it possible. And then they see this kid having to choose a substandard school. And that's really unfortunate. Definitely the hard way. So, the easy way does not require you to be focusing all your attention on applying for scholarships and grants, and that's all just additional. I want it to get affordable prior to that one component, which just makes it even better. And I definitely, one of the reasons we do this is we don't want the kids to be burdened with debt. I mean, the stories of the kids with the amount of debt that they have often requires them to live at home. I mean, I know we love them, but we don't want 6 kids in our basement. We want to be off on our own too. Now, Bill, I just want to remind you, since I'm not paying attention to comments and questions, so I can get through this. If there is something, man, just stop me. As you know, just blurt it out, and
I will. There hasn't been any questions yet, so
okay, perfect.
I mean, this is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, this is the easy stuff right now.
It's nothing. It's not rocket science here. He'll lay it all out for you.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It isn't some fancy gizmo. It isn't some fancy tool. It isn't rocket science. It's a strategy where people literally go, "Oh my gosh, I never really knew you could even do that." It's pretty cool. But so let's quickly look at this is my firstborn daughter. You'd see if you could see her little graduation thing there. It says class of 2016. She's attending $27,000 university. I got an 80% discount. I paid $3,800. Now, what would that do for you? I mean, what kind of impact would that have? I've worked with a lot of families that are very successful, and they got successful by being very diligent and working very hard. And I've never found one that just wants to spend the 27 grand simply because they have it. So, and then working with families who don't have it and don't want to take on all kinds of debt. So for anybody, when I say, what would that mean to you? I mean that honestly. How would that help you if you got a similar result to me? And I then get people to say, well, she must have been a superstar. I'm like, nope, she was slightly above average academically, and she never played a varsity sport. She was a JV player all 4 years in softball. So what that means is my net cost for college was under 16 grand. It was about $15,000. Now, if I had to, I could have put that on a credit card, right? Does that make a 4-year degree worth it? I bet it. I think it does, right? Not only the experience, but also getting a degree. And I'm not, out 100 grand. You bet. Now, in just the past 21 days here, working with families that I've privately coached, we've got awards that have come in, and implementing what I'm going to show you, I have saved those families a total of $73,600 per year, right? And that's obviously not per family, but that's a total. So just with the 4 families that I've specifically worked with, it came out to just over 18 grand a year of additional money without them applying for scholarships or grants. Now, these results, of course, I've got to say, they vary. You're going to see how in one example, nothing happened with one school with my kiddo. But my job is to show you the steps of how to set yourself up in the best position possible in order to get the results. And it's going to make perfect sense to you, but it isn't some magic pill. As Bill said, it's not rocket science. So you've probably heard me on the news, or you've seen our ebook, and I discussed the 3 secrets. So let's go through those in a little bit more detail. Secret number 1, the cost of attendance is not what it will cost you. So ignore it. And it's really the sticker price. It's like the cost of the coffee at Starbucks. You absolutely throw that out. In any of your school decision making, you do not even pay attention to that number. And I'll show you what you pay attention to. But the cost of attendance is not what it was going to cost you. Secret number 2, virtually every school will give you a lowball financial aid offer first to see if you take it. And most do. And now, for those of you who have seniors right now, this is most likely where you're sitting. And unbeknownst to you, you very potentially are sitting on a low financial aid offer. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. And then secret number 3, you have the ability to appeal the award and ultimately receive more money from the school. So we have a sticker price, we have discounts, we have negotiation. College is absolutely a business. So let's go into, sorry, I forgot the slide was here. So what do I mean by college being a business? Well, students are their customers, education is their product, empty seats to them mean no money. Grateful customers donate money in return. Now think about that. How many times have grateful customers walked into a Starbucks and said, you know what? I've had meetings here for free. I love your coffee. It's always upbeat. I want to give you guys $10,000 as a thank you. Nobody does that. One of the unique aspects of college as a business is grateful customers give money back to them so they can continue on being a great place. One example, I believe it was in 18, it might have been in 2017, but one alumnus of the University of Maryland donated $250 million. He donated $250 million to their university with one stipulation. It had to go to their enrollment department so that they could buy good students. He wanted to help them continue on the tradition of having quality kids. All right. So it's a unique part of the business. So as a recap, you ignore the cost of attendance. Virtually every school is going to give you a low offer first, unless you're that elite student, and you have the ability to appeal their offer. So let's dig into secret number one. So what I'm about to show you here, well, wait a second, let me back up. Let me look. Okay. What I want to show you here is a screenshot from a private Division I university. That's, you guys would all know their name. But every school's cost of attendance is negotiable like a garage sale item. And if we look here at the cost of attendance, you're going to see that this private university is just under $58,000. And look at their average. Every college posts these numbers. We'll show you the resources on how to find them. But their average merit award, gift aid award, right there is $14,880 on average for the merit. So on average, they give out 25.8. Now you might say, well, my kid's, not going to qualify for the merit. Well, we're going to get into that strategy as well. But let's take a look at their financial needs. So the little financial need right on the right side there. For those who qualify for financial need, their average gift aid is 27. So if you have 27,000, that's a discount of 46.8 off the sticker price. If you happen to qualify for financial need and merit, then on average, they discount their $57,000 price tag by 42 grand. That's a 72.8% discount if you know how to get it. Now let's keep going. So trends.collegeboard.org, you can pull up different this long PDF. And if you look at, this is the private college, so the full-time undergrad at a private 4-year college. This is the average net price, and this was the last one I looked was 16 and 17. But their published tuition, fees, room and board, the average for your private 4-year university across the entire nation was a gross cost of $45,000. But according to College Board, the net that families paid, so the average that families actually paid, was only $26,000. So on average, anybody who sends their kiddo to a private 4-year university, according to the main, analyzers, College Board, etc., 42.5% was the discount. And then we have families looking at the University of Denver here in the state of Colorado and going, oh, kid, we can't do 60 grand. Well, you're not going to have to do 60 grand. And that's if your kid is average for that school, right? These are the middle of the bell curve. But how do you get that money? So let's take a look at the public universities according to College Board. The average tuition, fees, room and board across the country, just over 20 grand. And what families paid was 14. So the public schools, a 30% discount. So secret one, the cost of attendance is not what it costs you. Absolutely throw it out. Don't even pay attention to it. Secret number two, virtually every school is going to give you a lowball financial aid award first to see if you take it. And unfortunately, most families do. Now, here recently, when I was interviewed on the news in the morning last week, the troubleshooter then reached out and that when we were still there and asked if she could do a story on me for the night. And I was like, sure. Well, that afternoon, she interviewed one of the head people at the University of Denver, and with a smile on it, he agreed with point number one. He agreed with actually secret number two. And on this one, he got a little smile and he goes, but here at DU, we always give our best offer first. I mean, of course he has to say that, because could you imagine if on the news he said, well, yeah, we lowball people all the time. I mean, he can't do that, but I've seen that university negotiate all the time. But so why do they typically lowball? From the school's perspective, the government swoops in to rescue. And the evidence of this is $1.4 trillion in parent and student loan debt in just the last 13 years alone. 1.4 trillion. So think of it from a business standpoint. The school has a kid that isn't, the highest of the high, isn't the elite student. Might be a little bit above average or average. They want them, they admit, and they admit the kid, and then they send out an aid offer. Why is it in their best interest to put the very best offer that they could offer you on the table? See, if they did that for everybody, their endowment would shrink. I mean, they can't do that for everybody. So they give you maybe a little offer, and then they know that the government is there. So let's look back at 92 with the FAFSA. The FAFSA is created. The government created the calculations inside the FAFSA, and the government created what within those calculations, the formulas that determine the expected family contribution, the EFC. And every family that fills out the FAFSA, that EFC number is always high, right? Even if you make a ton of money, I've had families with almost $500,000 of an EFC, meaning that the government believes that they could afford $500,000 a year to send their kid to school. So even for them, they're like, what? That's absurd. And then you have families to where a $30,000 EFC is absurd. They're like, we can't do 30 grand a year. That number is always high. Well, the government is the one who establishes those calculations to determine that number. They know it's high for everybody. So when the schools give you a small offer, who is there to save you? Who is there to come in and go, not a problem, we're going to help? And the evidence of this is just how many people have accepted that help over the years. It's a problem. So the schools wait to see if you'll accept the government loans. And if so, then the school collects full price or really close to it. I mean, we would do the same thing in business. Why put your very best offer on the table every single time? So let's look at a client, Randall. He actually was willing to do a video for us, which he did. You can find. He had triplets. He's been freaking out about the college since the ultrasound. 2 of his kids applied to the same school, and both of them received no offers at all. They received nothing. When it was time for me, my daughter applied to my alma mater. They actually knew that she was legacy because they'd been marketing to her, continue the family tradition. So the financial aid offer comes out, she was admitted, then the financial aid offer came out, and they offered nothing. Even as an alumnus, I was shocked. Now, the school we ended up choosing for her, she was packaged, of course, very well. She was focused on a particular career path, which helps, and no offer was given initially. Now, one of the students we worked with, Elizabeth, she had a 29 on the ACT, a 3.75 GPA. She was a very financially successful family, received no offer. We're going to see what happens to her. And Jacob, even better of a student, 31 on the ACT, 3.89 GPA. He also had a focus of a career path, which helps him decide particular schools. And he received a $10,000 initial offer. And I got a call. The parents were kind of excited. I'm like, well, now, wait a minute. Do you remember the analysis? Let's take a look. But that was the initial offer given by the school. So number 3, you can appeal the financial aid award and ultimately receive more money from the school. Now, if this is actually possible, how would that make you feel? And if this were possible and you discovered it after the fact, which has happened a lot for me when I've talked with people, how would that make you feel? So hopefully, I trust, you're not here if it's after the fact. But what we want to do is make sure it's not something you miss out on. So let's take a look at this. So now within secret number 3, this is where our research comes in as parents. And by that, what we have to know is the average aid offer given, like I showed you for that one school, in order to know how their offer compares. So when I was showing you that previous school that on average offered 27,000 in financial need and 14, I think it was, in merit, we need to know those, because if we know those offers, then we know where our kid sits. Oh yeah, there it was. I forgot I had that there. So when we know these numbers of the schools, then we know where we sit as the offer for our kiddo. So that then means what we need to understand is, how does our kid fit academically for them? So we have their average offer from them. We know what we have their offer that they gave us. We know what their average offer is according to the last enrollment cycle. And then we also know where our kid compares academically as a freshman. So this information is known too. You can find this on every school. So if you know that their average is a 27 and your kid has a 29, well, see, the mistake parents make is they look at that and they go, oh, cool, Susie, you're going to get in. Well, we look at that and go, no. You're an above average for them. That's leverageable. You're a desired student for them. That's something that we can use in our negotiation. So we know their averages, not only financially, but also as a student. So what do we then do? We take action. So if you receive an offer that's below their average, and you know it is, and your kid is average or above average for their school academically, and you know this too, and you then have determined effectively that they lowballed you. So what do? Well, that's when you appeal. You send a letter asking for a reconsideration of aid, and that letter must come from the student, and this quickly identifies which schools want you. I often refer to it as online dating. It's kind of like on swiping left or swiping right. If you do that on only one person's profile, you put all your eggs in that basket, right? So we don't want all of our eggs in one basket with the kid in college. Their job is to research schools and find schools that they will be a likely desired student, and one of them, at least one of them, will want you. And the only thing that they can do is offer money. Remember, they have to have butts in seats. So they can't offer, the parents, Saturday parking lot space to tailgate for the football game. They don't offer season tickets. They don't offer dorm suites. What they do is they offer money. So let's look what happened to Randall. So Randall, again, he had triplets. One of his kids got a free ride. The other two applied to a different school, but to the same school. They researched the schools. They knew that they were quality students for that school. And because they got no offer, they knew that was the lowest offer, that was the lowest of the low, and they appealed. He simply sent the letter from one of the kiddos to the director of financial aid. What's amazing is he got a call from that individual, and the guy said, hey, I'm going to see what I can do for you. And they got a letter back that they received $15,000 per year per kid. So $30,000 of gift aid. That's $120,000 over the course of 4 years that this mom and dad don't have to either deplete their assets by, redirect what they were saving for their own retirement to go to this, or go into debt for. So no more savings are needed. Now let's look at Jacob. I mentioned Jacob. He was the one with the 31 on the ACT and the 3.89 GPA, and he got the $10,060 offer. This is actually a screenshot of his actual offer. I wipe out the schools because the schools are irrelevant. It's a case-by-case basis. But they called me, and they were seemingly quite excited. But we went through the analysis and discovered that they lowballed Jacob. So they appealed it. And look at this. They got an offer back of, it went from 10,060 to 21,970. That was effectively $11,910 per year of additional grant money. That's almost $48,000 over the course of 4 years that, again, they don't have to spend direct cash flow to or go into debt for. How about Elizabeth, that family that I said was, is doing well financially? They have, you see that first circle there is $70,879. That was their expected family contribution, which was almost double the listed cost of attendance of that one university, which had a cost of attendance of $40,030. They got nothing, of course, because the school was waiting to see if they'd pay the bill because they were rich, or if they would take the government money to do so. And they got awarded a $12,000 gift aid award. So there's a 48 grand for that family as well, simply because they knew where their daughter sit and they knew where the average offers were with that school. And let's see how much and how bad this school wanted her. So the experiment I've often referred to, that almost failed, right? This was the old model for me, the hard way, as I referenced. Having 4 kids of my own to get through school, now, 2 stepkids. If they weren't exceptional, then they'd have to choose an inexpensive state school, right? This could impact the quality of their education that they work so hard to achieve. And I was told by financial people that I could always refinance the home in hopes to have enough for all of them. Well, that then just drastically impacts, my wife and I as we move forward. So I was trying to save, of course, but certainly wasn't keeping up. I sat down with one advisor. This was years ago. And he's like, dude, you got to start doing $1,500 a month now. And I'm like, oh my God, 18 grand a year starting now? I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous, right? But that's what that was based upon if I paid the sticker price. So I was studying, up on student and parent loan debt options. It's a nightmare. It's a total nightmare. So the experiment, the new model, ignore the price. She applied to schools, my daughter, that were aggressive in buying her. So that's what we teach. That's why I teach everybody. Apply to schools that are aggressive. You can find that information in buying students. This will give you, as it did us, options. Then have an understanding of those averages so you can effectively evaluate offers. If your kid is a senior right now, I guarantee you I'd be willing to bet money. You have no idea if your offer was low, average, or high. So having that information is critical, and then the ability to appeal. So here's how it broke down with my daughter. She applied to 7, got accepted to 6. We identified the best of the 6 and waited for their offers. All 6 offered nothing, all 6 of them, even my alma mater, remember? We appealed 3 of the 6. Now, we could have appealed all 6, but there's reasons why we just went after 3. One school didn't respond. Now, see, this is where I, get into it. This isn't some magic gizmo that works on every single school. It's not like they go, oh my God, this is totally awesome. They appealed it. No, the school didn't want her, right? And this is why we have to have kids applying to 6 to 10 schools. It's a must. The hardest thing about this entire process, right hand up, is getting kids to find 6 to 10 schools that they would be willing to attend. Believe it or not, that's been the hardest step when I'm coaching families, because we need 6 to 10. You need to have as many options available. We could target the specific ones they're hoping for, but that's a key component. One offered so this is after the appeal. One didn't respond. Then another offered $5,000 a year, but this was the problem. That was my alma mater, and it came back as a legacy grant. Well, they knew she was legacy at the very beginning. Why didn't they offer the legacy grant right out of the gate? I was so annoyed. I couldn't believe it. My own school kind of screwed me. My own school said, here you go. And then it was my doing. They would have accepted all my money, but it was my doing through my daughter. Hey, my dad went here. My uncle went here. Any possibility? Here you go. Here's a $5,000 a year legacy grant. That's $20,000 over the course of 4 years that I don't have to pay. Now, we ended up not choosing that school because the school that we chose offered an additional $14,700 in grant, work study, and some other aid for 14,700. So my net was $3,798 for a $26,898,000 Division I school. You bet that's where she's going. So again, to recap, ignore the cost. They're going to lowball you almost assuredly, and you can appeal it. So now let me ask you a question. I hope you see that this stuff is pretty cool, right? I mean, when I'm speaking to financial advisors, they don't know you can do this, and their eyes get real wide because they see money under management that they can retain. Why have $1 million in college money under management that they're just going to deplete when we could maybe have them only deplete 300,000? So they're definitely at a high level strategies we've discussed and just quickly in the last 40 minutes. And what would that mean to you if you were able to accomplish this without having to sacrifice the retirement or go into debt or redirect cash flow, et cetera? I hope you see that would be pretty awesome. And I really hope you're getting this and you see how it works. And with the right information, you can get the same results as Randall or Jacob and myself and the family with Elizabeth. I understand that this stuff because I've lived it, right? I've helped so many families and I did it myself. But 40 minutes or an hour isn't that long. What I want to lay out is how you can work with me directly and our system so that we can get this implemented for you. There's a lot of information, and I do have something that I can help you with. And I know on webinars, sometimes it's kind of awkward because you are on this thing, and I do have something to offer. And if you guys are okay with that, I'd love to share it with you. I don't want to bother you with an offer. If you're not interested, you can jump off, but I would like to show you what I've created. So with that, I'm going to dig in. Now, I refer to this as disposable income, and here's my take on this: is we all have money that comes in, and we dish it out to wherever we dish it out to. I certainly did never want to create anything where someone has to go into debt for. I believe in the rich dad, poor dad model. A poor dad bought assets by using debt. So he was losing money. A rich dad bought assets that created income, so he was gaining money. So my program, what I have, yes, there's a cost, but it's not an empty cost. It returns more money back every time if it's used properly. So that's what I wanted to create. And I had two choices. I either created something that was very expensive for only a select few, but there's too many people who needed my help. And after speaking for 5 years throughout the entire charter school system here, really in Colorado, I had about 90% of the families that if I was choosing to be an expensive college planner, and I without a doubt could have been the number one planner in the country, or certainly in the state, because I was the primary speaker in the charter school system. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't hold this knowledge in for only those who could stroke me a big check. So I did it literally for free for 5 years until I finally had the idea of creating College Money Academy. So my second option then was to make it something that is affordable, because I have a goal. I want to put a dent in the college system, because if I can bring enough awareness through financial planners and through families, then something's going to change. If enough families aren't accepting, different offers, et cetera, right out of the gate. So that's when I created College Money Academy. And within my academy, here is what you get. You get a module, its own module, on what you have to know about financial aid and the cost of college. All right, and there's a value to this individually. Let's look at that. So within this module, there's an overview of financial aid, and it can be a very confusing component for sure. So I want to break it down and make it simple, from understanding the terms, how they apply to you, understanding the cost, what to expect, the difference, and why you definitely want to learn how to do this because of the opportunity cost it means to you in the future and the implications to having multiple kids. Number two, so not only do you get the financial aid module, but you get a module on how to properly research colleges to make the best selection. And this one is huge, because you might be saying, well, my kid's not this elite student. Well, yes, in many cases, for kids who are well below average, my strategies don't work. They might have to go prove themselves somewhere for a year or two, and then it can work. But for those who are average to above average, for for a variety of schools, you can research and you can find a college to where you're an average to above average for them. So I go into the resources, what to look for, and how to find that out. So when we're applying them to the colleges, that becomes the critical step. So here's what you get: the best questions to ask at college fairs, the resources needed to begin compiling your list of possible universities, and how to properly narrow your list, and how to make final cuts to ensure you're effectively targeting the right schools. Now, what else would you possibly need within this? Student packaging is huge. And again, I know if you're the senior right now, you're already past all this, but it's as important for you to understand how all this works together. So here's what you're going to get: not only the financial aid module, how to properly research the schools to make the best selection, and how to most effectively build the resume and package the student. This is 12 videos in this module, and this one is very important, because what we have to remember is we're competing for money. So how do we do that within the various academic choices? Certainly career planning is a big one. If a kiddo has an understanding that I want to go into engineering, all that does is limit the amount of schools, and that can help us become a more desirable kid because we know what we want. So how do we leverage that? How does that impact our school selection? Resume building is big. How do we maximize the various components underneath that? And when it comes time to be applying, the minimum and maximum number of schools, the reach schools, and how do we create a reach student? That's a critical piece to this. So if we can navigate this arena and find schools to where our kid is a reach student for that school, then there's a lot of money to come from them. So and then how to transfer in and how to leverage campus visits. Believe it or not, that's a very leverageable component. So who has this worked for? Certainly single parents, married parents, and even blended. So basically everybody. Definitely the financially successful. That's a huge myth. And certainly those who are challenged, families who have multiple kids or just one kid. And the primary piece, though, is those who are willing to learn. So here's a quote from a family. They're a blended couple. And they said, "You're not going to find anything else that's quite as succinct, provides a roadmap that you guys are providing to walk you through the entire process from start to finish." You can see their video. This couple here, or this mom here, this was really great. I got this email. She said, "So my out-of-pocket for the entire year is only $9,400. This was at a $25,000 university. I was like, yep, that was great. Randall, the results we received was $15,000 per kid per year for 2 of his kiddos, or $120,000 over the course of 4 years, which was a tremendous sense of relief. It really changed our lives." So what else would you possibly need? You definitely need a module on how to appeal. So here's what you're going to get with that. Not only do you get the financial aid and the cost of college module, how to research schools, how to build the resume, but you also get 10 videos on making your appeal as strong as possible. And this one's really strong. Now, for those with seniors, I got an offer for you here. I got something coming up for you that's involved with this module here. So the average freshman test scores, how do you know, where can you find the resources to know where your kid sits? Is he average, above average? And should they be getting an average offer? And then analyzing those offers, the ability to identify if they're low or high, the resources to find all this information, and then make sure you're prepared for those offers. And then when to appeal. There's sometimes when you don't. So was it low offer? Was it fair? Was it a great offer? And then how to appeal. Right? So if all this did was give you the resources and the strategy to research financially aggressive schools for your child, would it be worth it? Without a doubt, that key component is fantastic right there alone. If all it did was teach you how to package your kids so that they stand out amongst their peers, would it be worth it? Yes. If all it did was teach you how to appeal an award, would it be worth it? Without a doubt. Now, there's an additional module because it's an important topic, because after working with so many families, it's a very common issue, and that is, how do we navigate this whole thing, FAFSA and all that, if we're divorced? So within our academy, you get the financial aid cost of college module, how to research schools, how to build and package the resume for the kid, how to make your appeal as strong as possible, and then a special topics module that focuses on divorce. Divorce has a ton of strategy to it. And it's primarily around the FAFSA and the CSS profile application, because custody, believe it or not, custody can impact your school selection and who to put on the aid application. So that one I've done a lot, and that one has major, major saving potential. So the real question is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time and a little money to check this out? If it does even half of what I've claimed today, it'll pay for itself 20 times over. But I want to give you more. I want to give you a detailed module on my case study, exactly with my daughter. So the cost of college and the financial aid module, researching the schools, packaging your kiddo, appeal as strong as possible, divorce if that affects you, and then a full detail of my case study. And here's what we lay out: the exact strategies we used from freshman through senior, how we leveraged her clubs or sports, how we analyzed, the schools we selected, how we analyzed the aid, and then how we appealed. And I'll burn through these because of the time. If all this did was ensure your divorce wouldn't cause you a problem, would it be worth it? Yes. Man, that one's huge. Lay out the details, how I packaged my average daughter to be competitive. Would that help you or teach you how I researched and narrowed the list? Yes, it would. So when I had two choices, you have two choices. You can do nothing, and that's fine. And you could not take this leap of faith and step into what, if you're a junior or sophomore kiddo now, what is surely going to be very confusing. If you're a senior right now, you might be paying more than you need to. Or the second one is a small investment to be empowered through this whole college process. Now, you can see why college planners often charge, a lot of money to coach families, and it certainly worked. Oops, let me just see. I think I missed. No, it's on that. Okay. So let's get to this. The people that are not on this webinar, if they go to our webpage, to get access one time to my academy is $9.97. Now, they get everything you see, everything we discussed off to the left. And then if they want any of my additional bonuses, those are something else that they can choose to. But on the webinar, not only do we offer a discount for those that have committed to being here live of $7.97 one time, but we also offer all of the additional bonuses at no additional charge. So let's go through that. What else would you need? Obviously, appeal letters. Not only how to appeal, but what to say. So these normally are something that someone can opt to buy or not. So this is truly a webinar only offer. And this here, these are the letters. They're blurred out, but they're with special circumstance and without special circumstance. So if there is a special circumstance, like Randall with having triplets, or just a kiddo that's simply looking for a better offer, we have both of those letters for you. So when we look at how they worked, Randall got $30,000 a year between his two kids. I got 14.7, Elizabeth 12, Jacob almost 12. So if you were to see just one small offer like I did, like my daughter did, the $5,000 offer from my alma mater, would it make sense to pay me $5,000 in order to save, the next 3 years, the next 15 grand? Of course it would, right? How many times would you spend $5,000 to get someone, to get 20 back all the time? So I have another bonus though. And this is something, again, outside the webinar, people have to buy. It's the detailed timeline and map. And here's what I mean by that. I've had so many families over the years that have been like, what are we doing today? Kelly, I get a call. Kelly, when are we expecting this? Should we be doing the SAT, ACTs? And I realized that this timeline was a big problem. So I created a very detailed timeline and a printable map of it if you just wanted a visual from junior year to college move-in. It's very detailed, so you'll never be confused about the timing. What's been great is it's reduced the amount of phone calls that I get because you know where you are every step along the way. I had one parent tell me, he's like, man, I can actually kind of sit back and drink my coffee and I'm not freaking out. I'm like, good. So we got the detailed process. You get this. So here's what you're going to get with that, or so far, everything you're going to get. The module on the financial aid and the cost of college, how to research schools, how to build your kid's resume, how to appeal. If you happen to be divorced, it's a very powerful knowledge there on how to maximize that. My case study, 2 actual appeal letters for you to use as a template, and then the detailed timeline and map. And I've got something else. It's all the modules in ebook. I had somebody say, Kelly, man, I travel a ton. I haven't been able to watch your videos. And well, let me just put them all into an ebook format for you. So you get access to all of them as an ebook format. All right. So all of that stuff so that you can read if you want to. So if you were to experience the same results as described in this webinar, then this program would be worth far more. But because you're here, it's a one-time payment of $797. Now, I've got a little bit more for you. I want to show you what the Academy looks like. So you should be able to see my screen here. When you get this and log in, you have your own login up here. You can log in, log out. And you get everything over here. So you'll see if I were to click on, say, student prep, let me click here, go to resume building. You see this whole resume building component, all the different videos there. If you scroll down to, say, the appeal letters, and we click here, you've got a little PDF on evaluating, and then you've got the actual letter that you can download, all right? So all of it is right here. Now, this is where I can keep things updated. Right. So all I do, if there's anything that I need to update, I just go into here and I just update it. I can do another video. I can provide additional resources, etc. So let me go back here to the presentation. So that's the Academy once you get in. So here's how you do this. And I have it set for 2 o'clock. If you go to collegemoneyacademy.com/order form or / whichever, then you'll see this page here. Let me go to this. Let's see right here. All right, you're going to see this page right here. And the time's going to be different, but that's okay. So you're going to see this page here, and you can scroll down to the Senior Rescue Plan, which I'm going to get to in just a minute. It's going to say $797, and you scroll over here and you'll see this $797, and you'll see a Senior Rescue Plan that you can grab. So here's that page. It hadn't refreshed since the webinar when I started it, but but you'll see the proper pricing for that. Let's see, where am I again? Here we go. So that's what the page looks like when you hit it. So now the beautiful thing is if you step in, right, you get I know that this entire process the college process is very complicated, right? All the workshops that I've been to at the high schools, because I like to go to them, it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose in of itself, but but it's a big fear-based position typically at those presentations to get you to pay the individual $3,000 to step in. But the good thing is you can, with this program, you can say goodbye to the selection process being confusing. You get to say goodbye to the stress about the listed cost of attendance, or to the challenge of packaging your kid effectively, or the powerlessness when it comes to financial aid and financial aid offers. All this is gone forever. And it can be very intimidating, and you feel like you're kind of in a courtroom and you're not represented, but not anymore. I hope you see how awesome that is. And trust me, I've worked with so many families. It is very, very awesome. Now, again, as I just mentioned, other advisors charge a lot of money before they'll even roll out this information to you. But I want to give you the unlimited access to it today.
Hey,
now, it's
Kelly,
important.
I put a link to that in the chats on both YouTube and
Perfect.
And in here. So if you just want to click on the link, it'll take you right to the order form, and you could just go ahead and start today.
Perfect. And I got just a couple more things for you, and then we can get some Q&A. So it's important to know that I'm nothing special. I'm not some master negotiator. My daughter wasn't some incredible student. Her ACT was actually a point below the average. I have no special connections. I've just spent over 9 years of trial and error to discover these secrets. And this is where, I hand them all over with just a small investment. You certainly are welcome, obviously, to spend all the hours it takes to kind of do it the hard way and dig in, but there's no reason to do that. We'll skip through that one for right now. So here's what you're going to get. You get the financial aid, cost of college module, how to research the schools, how to build and package your kiddo, how to make your appeal as strong as possible, how to maximize divorce, and a full module on my detailed case study, 2 actual appeal letters, the detailed timeline and map, and all the modules and ebooks. And I know I could charge $4,400 for that. Again, the offer we didn't accept, the $5,000, would have brought me additional money year 1. But let's take a look at the last 2 things I have. I do offer myself as a private coach, but I'm very limited in who I can take. And because we're here in March, I've actually had a few openings because I'm done with some families. So this really is more for those who have sophomores or juniors. If you want to solidify me for the senior year, I do have some availability for that. And let's go to what that page looks like here. So if you go to what is it? It's just coaching. It's just coaching. Sorry, it's collegemoneyacademy.com/coaching. You'll see this page here, and you can secure a spot with me. Now, what I do, though, I've got a special opportunity for those on the webinar. I am expensive privately, and I'm not for everybody, as I state up here at the top. If you need someone to hold your hand through everything FAFSA, like I don't help your kid with the essays, etc., I'm not your guy. But I am the only one who guarantees results. So if someone works with me directly and nothing happens, then I refund my fee. But I do have a special webinar pricing. If you type in friend into this discount box, you'll see it adjusts to $2,500. All right. So I do that for people on the webinar. So if you want to grab me, you certainly can do so. Just do an all caps friend, and it changes the price. So that's always available. Now let's go back to the presentation as we finish this up. So the second one, and for those with seniors, this is another offer that is unique to the webinar. I do have a senior rescue plan because there's opportunities for you. So this particular tool you can get, and you get access to the module on how to research and make the best selection, because there's the information you need in there on their averages, and then how to make your appeal as strong as possible. You get that module. Then you get actual appeal letters. You get both of those appeal letters, and then you get a strategy session with me. So it's a quick value, but I of course am not going to charge that for those that are in that position. So it's normally $425 on the order form. You will see it, and if I go to that real quick, it's over here. You will see the senior rescue plan, but it's not $425. It's $375. If you click on that, you won't see this button here because this is the timeline that's included with your stuff. But you'll see the senior rescue plan, and you can grab that on the order form. So this module, or this particular tool, is very powerful for families right now because you can quickly step in, maximize the modules that are effective for you, have the appeal letters, and be on your way. There's still time. With all of March and all of April, you have plenty of time to get this done, but get on it, because you want to be early for sure. So I want to make sure that we have something of value for you as well. So I already went through that. So you can get started now at the $797. Now on the order form, you will see you have the ability to make 3 payments. If the $797 is a one-time is too much, you can choose that as well. But let's go through finally just some very basic questions before I open it up. I know I am 3 minutes long. How long do you have to access the course? Perpetually. It's a one-time login. So if you have multiple kids, that's fine. You have a login. You'll never be kicked out of that or charged anything additional. And when does the academy start and finish? Whenever you start and finish it. And why didn't that change? And then what if this information becomes outdated by the time my next child's going to college? Well, it won't be, because I have the ability to step in there and constantly update it. So that's just not even an issue. And then can I use these strategies for graduate school? The answer is no. There is nothing in my academy for those in the graduate school program. So I don't buy it. I have no experience, no knowledge in that arena. So there is no information. Does it work to appeal? Potentially. I don't know. But I can't rightfully have you step in there thinking that you're going to find some assistance. Okay, so I burned through kind of that part just because I'm a little long, but this is where I can open it up if there are any additional questions outside of this. You're going to see that this offer has stayed open for another hour, so it will be there for another hour, available to you, and then it's gone. So it'll resort back to the 997, and those appeal letters are something additional that you have to grab. But if there's any additional questions, I can take them now.
I don't see any questions, so.
Cool.
I mean, you are thorough with this, so I would say that. It's a good presentation, and I would think that everybody would be okay with all the answers. So,
well, let's go ahead and jump off then. It's all there for you, and if you've got any questions, you certainly can email Kelly at collegemoneyacademy.com. I can put that here in the chat real quick. Kelly at collegemoneyacademy.com. We can go from there. All right, sir.
good job, and have a good day.
Take care.